In this video, we're going to talk about 3 exercises that you can do from anywhere that are also scalable, i.e. you can use additional resistance. You can start out from body weight right in the comfort of your own home, and you can build them all the way out in the gym to make them much, much more challenging, to take you in a progressive manner to strengthen your back effectively. Each of these exercises targets a slightly different area of back competence, and when you put them together, you're going to get a nice 360 approach, both at the local level and also further afield. And it is going to be a really good workout that you can not only do at a leisurely pace, but also can really burn some calories, work hard, and stimulate that muscle at a more intense level as well. We'll kick things off by just going in a little bit more detail about each one of these exercises and what it's actually doing, what component of strengthening it's actually having. And then we'll get into the specific exercises themselves one at a time. So first and foremost, we're going to work on moving the lumbar spine into extension. So the movement of that movement there, allowing the pelvis to drop into anterior rotation and basically compressing all of the facet joints on the back. That's the first one. We're going to stabilize and protect. That's going to be an isometric exercise. And then we're going to move into the second one, which is going to do 2 things. That's going to strengthen the back component, so holding the lordosis and stopping us rolling and dropping forwards, again, promoting a neutral spine in the opposite way. But that was also going to work these muscles in a more concentric manner, generating a degree of power from those muscles. And as you go on and you add resistance to this, you can obviously generate quite a lot of power in these muscles whilst learning to maintain and stabilize this section of your back. The final one is going to work at the top, and that's going to be this region here, around about the sort of the bra strap area between the shoulder blades. And that's providing good posture. That's holding your posture into that strong position so that it works with the isometric contraction down here in both the core and on the back muscles as they blend round with the core. So we really have a very strong overall posture and really good engagement. And those 3 exercises can then be built and scaled with additional resistance and additional reps, etc. This first one we're going to be doing on the floor. We're going to be into a position on our back, and we're going to be doing what's called a dead bug. So we're going to be engaging the core tightly, nice and tight through here, and it's a circumferential contraction. It is not a pelvic tuck like so. We're not doing sit-ups here. That is wrong, okay? We're engaging the core with a neutral spine, because if we engage it like so, then we're learning to engage with a rounded back, and that's going to have problems later on, so it's not a smart move. And a lot of people are doing those sit-ups and those crunches, etc., leg raises, all that sort of stuff. We're not doing that in this video. We're keeping a nice neutral spine, a little bit of a hollow in the back here, but we have to make sure that hollow doesn't get larger. So then we're going to engage, we're going to bring the legs up to tabletop position. We have a little bit of a gap underneath here, core's nice and tight here. It's not coming out like so. We're engaged and in all directions. And then all we're simply doing is the leg is going out like so and then coming back. Obviously we'd have our head relaxed in this position, but I'm just talking to you as we're doing this. Nice and engaged, leg coming out and then coming back. As we go out, this is what I was mentioning at the start, the tendency will be for our back to arch like so. And that is what we're resisting here. We are getting control, so we're going to engage our core and hold the neutral spine, not into extension and not into flexion, neutral. When you do this exercise and you tuck your bum under and then you engage, you make it infinitely easier. All you're doing is using the fact that the bones are blocking the movement. It's not challenging. We learn to engage with a neutral spine, and then the one leg goes out and we do our reps, and then we can do the other leg as well. So that's the extension, that's that movement that we've taken care of. We're engaged from the front. Now we're going to work on what's called the hip hinge. So we're going to get slight bend in our knees, and this would essentially be similar to a stiff leg deadlift. And what we're going to do is pivoting at the hips. So the spine stays nice and neutral, and it's just the hips that we bend it. And you will know when you've gone far enough, because you'll find that your hamstrings kick in and they stop you going any further. Now, the trick that you're doing this wrong is that you carry on allowing your thoracic spine to bend, your lumbar spine to bend, and we end up down here, which you can tell, not particularly good for my back. This isn't going to build a strong back. We want to learn to maintain neutral and then come back up to the starting position. So we've done first with the ones on the floor, we've got this front section, we engage our core like we discussed on the floor without tucking or bending the spine. Spine stays neutral, chest nice and in, core nice and in, back muscles nice and tight, and then these back muscles are working with the core isometrically, meaning they are contracting and holding static. Like that is an isometric engagement of my biceps. They're not moving, they're not getting shorter or longer, they're holding steady. So these muscles do that as the hamstrings and the glutes slowly lower us down, and then we come back up to this position. It's worth mentioning that the back muscles running from sort of these bony bits down here up to here, they will be tense as we're going through this range of motion, but they should not be moving. They should be staying a set length. as we go into this position and not allowing that lumbar spine to get into a rounded position. Please make sure of that, because if you start making that mistake, then you're not going to be adhering to the principles of this and you put yourself in a vulnerable position. So this final exercise is going to be working basically this area on the back. And we've done the core from the front. We've done the core from the back. We've got some power generated in the glutes and in the hamstrings to drive movement. And now we're going to work higher up that posterior chain between the shoulder blades. And this movement, we have our arms like so, and all we're going to do is pop our chest up. So you imagine there's a little hook on the front here. Ladies that are wearing a bra, just in the middle of the bra, the hook is there. Men, just at the bottom of your breastbone. And we're going to pull up and out towards the corner of the room as we do this movement. And then our arms are just going to open at the same time. So as we come back, we pop out and open. And as you do this effectively, we've got to remember, from steps 1 and steps 2, core engaged, back nice and strong. We're not arching our back here, we're just popping our chest out. It's as if there's a thoracic movement with a stable corset region. So as we come there, up and out, and then relax. Up and out, and you can slightly over-exaggerate this one. You can really round your posture here, and then up and out like so. And as if I show you once from the back as well, there, in that position, and then back. That position, and then back. The shoulders should not be coming up when we're doing this. If anything, they depress slightly, drop slightly, and as they drop, you can see the chest pops up and out. It's a very important principle. So ultimately, we also want to think about how can we scale these. You can shadow them, which is what we've discussed a moment ago, by not using any weight. But we can make enhancements to the dead bug by adding in additional movements. We can potentially use ankle weights there, or we can do more reps. That is the one that's a little bit more difficult to enhance with additional resistance, but there are tweaks and adjustments that we can make to make that more difficult. And for many of you, actually doing those exercises really well, that particular one will be quite a challenge, and it'll be more a case of increasing the repetitions that you're doing over the long term. That's going to provide a real challenge there. Then we get to the latter 2 exercises. For those, you've got things like bands. You've got lovely pink heavy kettlebells that you can use as well. This is 5 pounds, just so you guys know, not particularly heavy, that we can use as we're going through those particular ranges of motion. And we can obviously use dumbbells, etc., cable systems in the gym as well to enhance these exercises. But the great thing about them is you can do them right in the comfort of your own home, just after you're watching this video. And you can then use things like resistance bands and kettlebells at home to start to get into them in a more effective way, adding a little bit of resistance. Then if we are someone that likes going to the gym, we can take it to the next level where you've got much more weights and resistance to use for the long term to build these things. The important thing is that you don't just do these with shadowed body weight, as I've shown you in the video today. The important thing is that over the long term, if you're going to get good health and wellness, and we're going to build a strong back effectively, we have to be progressive. And yes, we can increase reps to a degree, but we are going to reach a point where we want to be adding in levels of resistance consistently over the long term. Don't try and make crazy changes in a short period of time, in a month or in a couple of weeks. But if we can consistently, month on month on month, make steady incremental improvements, that is what leads to success. That's what allows the joints time to get stronger as the muscles make progress, and our whole body and movement patterns can adapt and evolve as we go through that process of getting stronger overall, or as you'd like to say, getting back in shape. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and hopefully the tips in those 3 little exercises put together can really help you build your back for the long term. You can do sets of them individually, you can do sets of the routine as a little circuit. There's so many options that you can do with those simple things that mean you can take the brain out of it and you just get on and get it done and slowly increase the weights over time, as I just discussed. If you did find this video helpful, consider giving us a thumbs up. And if you find videos like this helpful and useful in understanding how you can do these things effectively without getting into a bit of trouble, then consider subscribing to the channel as well so you know when we release a new video. Until next time, have a great day.